Anything that I should be worried about in there?
I suppose Dark Spark is the one that I'm interested in. Won 15 links in Kilbeggan the last day. Out representing Voller Vedette is the mother of the horse. Won really well at Kilbeggan after that. But yeah, if Hollow Games turns up. But look, the bumper winner at Downride is if Hollow Games acts up. Is he better than Sir Gerhard? I have never seen a horse in a bumper take a tug down the hill like Jamie Codd did. I know Chemical Energy was very impressive on the Friday, as well. But Sir Gerhard, it's fucking really, really impressive. But look, we'll see how Hollow Games get on, and we'll take it from there.
Superb. So that's the Saturday covered up for Punchestown. We'll go on to the Sunday now. First race isn't quite as exciting as the previous day. We have those beginners chase and the novice chase, but it's a handicap chase where Dunvegan would be heading the weights. He'd be running off 11 stone 12 if they decide to come here. It's a little bit further in trip, 2 miles 7 pretty much. When you look at the names that potentially are in here, and the fact that he's top weight, obviously, it would look like it's an easier race. But the fact that he'd be carrying top weight, I still would prefer that he went the Saturday. If they decide to come here for whatever reason they want to swerve other runners, then hey ho, I'd still find him of interest whichever race he goes in. But other than that, there wouldn't be anything that I'd be looking at in here to get excited about unless Dunvegan defects from the Saturday and comes here, because I'll have to back him whatever he runs in. Anything you liked?
I like the Liz Doyle horse in here, Dave. If it turned up, it's called Boys de Clermont, is it? Boy de Clermont. Yeah, it won 5 lengths the last day. Tremor, very impressive. Was back down to favourite. Has a low weight, as I said. Hopefully, Dunvegan does come here for the weight issue. I like her 125. Possibly a horse with a bit more potential than her mark. I think could have a chance, but look, it's just a step in there until you see declarations. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah. And it doesn't particularly look the greatest race, but I'm sure if you got stuck into it with the final decks, we could probably pick something. But why waste time on that when the second race of the day, Grade 2, it's the Florida Pearl Novice Chase. Now, this is always a race that excites me just for the fact that I think it is one of the big ones. And I love the trip as well. I know people frown upon it, they reckon 2 miles the best division and then working your way up. But when it comes to going to fences, everyone's dreaming of the Gold Cup horse. I love a novice chase that's this far in distance. Now, I've got to kick off by saying Home by the Lee was a tracker horse of mine that just went by the wayside last season. And because he went by the wayside last season, he's flagged up on 2 alerts this term. And I thought, do you know what? I'll just see how he gets on over fences first time, wins. Then he runs next time, and I thought, well, I've missed my chance to back him now, didn't I? Wins again. So I won't be able to bring myself to back him here because he's a double penalty carrier. He'll be giving weight away to latest exhibition, who should take all the beating in here. Court Maid will be interesting on figures because 142 rated. But look, there's no real messing about. Is their latest exhibition I thought was going to be underwhelming on his chase debut. Not for any reason other than the fact that I thought he would probably need it. But he looked all class. And, I mean, you'd be shocked if he didn't win this, wouldn't you?
Oh, unbelievably shocked if he doesn't win, Dave. He'll win, yeah.
Done. The race after this, Mare's Hurdle Race, listed race. Interesting for Magical Eye. She's got entries everywhere.
She runs tomorrow at Clonmel.
That's it, yeah. So she's declared into that Mare's Chase. She'll be an interesting one towards the Grand National, wouldn't she? I know we haven't given her too much attention because we haven't been covering those other races, but all roads would lead to that. And I'd give her a bit of a squeak as well. Daylight Katie for Gordon Elliott's listed in here. She obviously didn't make it to the festival last term. Lots of people liked her. It's an okay looking mare's race, to be fair, considering it's a handicap hurdle as well. Lots of 140 horses in here. There isn't really much that jumps out to me other than Ellie Mae, because I think Ellie Mae is, if they ran off the levels, the bunch of this in here, especially over this sort of trip, she'd probably be the one that would interest me quite a lot. So I feel like if this handicap did happen, well, sorry, it's not a handicap, is it? It's just a listed race. Then maybe I wouldn't be quite so keen. Yeah, I've mugged myself right off there, and I think it was a handicap. I don't know why I said that. Thinking it was a handicap, but hey, oh yeah. So maybe not so excited about Ellie Mae, but yeah. Anything more interesting and more informative than that?
No, Dave, you kind of summed up Ellie May or Daylight Katie. Daylight Katie got injured the last day at Down Royal last year. The Down Royal just went. If it turns up, they think a lot of the mare. But like, if you give me a choice between Daylight Katie and a return, because she's a mare, build me up Buttercup. If you got a fighter against him, we'll lose. So I would go with Ellie May. Yeah, if Ellie May looks a better chaser though than a hurdler.
Yeah.
But look, it's mares, if you know what I mean. Like if you ran this race and all the horses that entered, you get 5 different results out of 7 or 8 races. Do you know what I mean? They all ran
Yeah.
the same race. So look, wait till it turns up. But look, if Eddie May is definitely interesting, yeah, because it's one of his next 4 races.
Yeah.
Looked like a nice horse, and if I'm not mistaken, beat Jared Sutherland horse last year, Turles. So yeah, I think it has a right chance. Yeah.
She's one that I looked at a bit for the Mares Chase race, just because obviously it's a new race looking there. You're looking for horses that are probably going to go there. Salsa has been put in as the fav. She's only got novice form. She fell behind Lorena at Cheltenham. Like, that puts me off massively. I know Ellie May was fairly disappointing in the Mares Hurdle, the Roxana one, but she'd only just come over. I think she's a lot better now. Like you say, she does look a better chaser. The trip 2.5 miles is going to suit her down to the T. You know JP's going to want to have some runners in there as well. I reckon she's like a bit of a live wire for it. So the fact that she's going in this hurdle race would maybe worry me that she might need it a bit. But she's definitely interesting. But even more interesting is the grade 2 after this. Oh, Fury
It's a new
Road.
race, Dave, and it's a new race. I've never seen this race before.
You could be right.
Yeah.
You'd think if it was a graded race, they would have had something previous with it. I mean, I feel like I should know this stuff. The thing is, because it's the November meeting, I tend to just watch the Morgiano. I don't remember there being the Middle East distance last year in there, but it's here anyway now. Beacon Edge has been decent this season, hasn't he? Noel Mead's been in decent form. I like Beacon Edge, but for me, Beacon Edge is a 2.5 miler, flat track, which will be fine at Punchestown, but Aintree horse. Like, he's not going to win a stairs hurdle, even though I think a lot of people are going to start going down that route with him, thinking that sort of stuff. Fury Road should be going over fences. I know they talk about all the firepower they've got in there, but it makes me worry or wonder with him whether something's happened at home. And I know that they say, oh, they've got all this other stuff that's going in there. He's already 6. He'll be 6 turning 7. 7 turning 8 as a novice chaser. I mean, not saying that it'll be too late to do it, but I think there's probably maybe more to it than lets on. It was unlucky in the Albert Bartlett to a degree, because from the final flight to the finish line, I could have had a different result a few times, I think. But I really like Fury Road. On these terms, though, it isn't going to be a particular penalty kick. French Dynamite won't come, that ran last week. Will the Gigginstown run Beacon Edge, Fury Road, and Baxter as a fire? I highly doubt it. Duke Up is like semi-interesting, but I suspect Fury Road will start off here. I suspect Fury Road will win. If Beacon Edge came in, then I'd be semi-tempted with him, but just probably all eyes on Fury Road, I think, for me.
Beacon Edge for me, Jeff. Like Fury Road looks a slow boat to me. Beacon Edge has been running the last couple of days. The 4 pound difference, 4 pound the weight difference. Yeah, Beacon Edge for me. If he turns up, I think he'll win.
Yeah, and I do like Beacon Edge. I feel this is, what is it, 2 mile, 5.5 in it. So it's not a full 3 mile-ish trip. Yeah. I mean, if that's the thing with the Gigginstown stuff, you never know who they're going to run. I feel like they both should run, because this is perfect for Beacon Edge trip of, like I say, middle-ish distance. Fury Road needs somewhere to start off. This is a good place to do it. So hopefully they do run the pair against each other and we get to see a pretty decent clash. But they'll both make each other work, I reckon.
Yeah, they will. They will, in fairness. But you know, it's a new race. Obviously, probably brought in because of COVID and all that, correct? But momentum-wise, you'd have to go with Beacon Edge. He had a horse. Was it Vanilla Melody? Was second to last. There was a horse, Gordon Elliott, that interests me further down the line. That was a million of mine horse last year. Grand Roy, is that I think his name is. Yeah, he interested me down the line for a certain race that Gordon Elliott targets down the line. But we'll see after Beacon Edge now on Sunday to think about that. But yeah, there was a lot of pointers in that race the last day in Galway that interested, because I like Galway. The fact of the matter is, like, Galway Hill is massive compared to Cheltenham Hill. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if you see a decent horse around there, they're obviously going to be suited to Cheltenham. So yeah, that Grand Roy is a very interesting horse. Yeah, very interesting horse. Down the line, we'll see how he gets on.
Yeah, and there's another one that got mentioned this week for the same race that he likes to plot at the festival. Wide receiver, I think loads of people have got him on the radar for it now. It's the types of horses in it. He gets these big, high-profile horses that, for whatever reason, apparently don't seem to show their form until March in that particular race. But a horse that he will be hoping is showing his form before March is Abacadabras, because got beat first time up. I mean, I think if you're an Abacadabras fan, then you have to just take it with him, don't you? That you know that he's going to get beat every now and again. This race really, like, when you consider at the beginning of the season, Abacadabras, lots of people were saying that he should be a champion, like will be a champion hurdle winner, because given how well he ran in the Supreme. Saint Roy, everyone was saying was decent, then Aramon did what he did. I get all of that sort of stuff, and I've backed him at a big price. Again, like we said before about Saint Sonnet, he's the sort of horse that if you're backing any post, you would have been on it before. I think with those two, it's important to remember that Abacadabras, the last day, I know he got beat, but like I think he's the type of horse you could forgive him for that sort of stuff. And when we look at the betting for the champion hurdle, I know it's changed now that St. Wiles come out and won a race, but Abacadabras was single figures after the festival last year, and St. Wiles was a 25-1 poke. Whereas now, when you look at the betting for this, Abacadabras is quite a bit behind. I wouldn't be writing Abacadabras off in this race. Saudia has got to come here for Willie Mullins, because they've got to get a run into it. So I love Saudia. He's another one of those I really struggle to think that we're ever going to see the best of him now. But it's a 3-horse race between them three. But I'm quite staggered, to be honest, how many people have just completely jumped ship from Abacadabras to Saint Noir and forgotten about him. I mean, I don't know how I'd play in the race, but even talk about it now, I'm getting myself semi-tempted to back Abacadabras if he was... I can't remember. The prices were up, weren't they? I think Saint Noir was odds on, wasn't he?
He was, yeah.
Yeah, Abacadabras 5 to... You can get 11 to 4 Abacadabras. It's the wrong price, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yourself now in character last year fought me over him. Africa, he's no chance in the Supreme. Look, on Sunday, all jokes aside, I wouldn't be backing him. I know he ran the last day and he was beaten. I love your man's comment on the Racing Post side, Justin O'Hanlon. He does a bit of commentary on me. Like, who gives these people jobs in the Racing Post? I'm sorry, no, right? Puts a headline up saying, Aspartar enters the champion hurdle picture because it beats an Abracadabras who was probably only half cooked. I'm like, seriously. To be honest with you, Dave, there were 158 Abracadabras, 156 Saint Roy, and 159 Saldier, right? Now, on the form line, you have to go with Saldier because he won the race last year because he beat Classical Dream and he beat
Sharjah
second in the champion hurdle. But I could be saying, I love, people might say after this video, this fella has no clue, like, what's he on about? I really think this Saint Roy is a good horse. This horse has gears, real gears, I think. And now he's gone from a handicapper now to all of a sudden a champion hurdle horse. But look, a lot of horses have done it from the county hurdle, become champion hurdle horse. I think the race won't suit Abracadabras. As I said to you always last year, that Abracadabras needs a really end-to-end gallop on good ground. If it's good ground on the first day at Cheltenham, he's still a bet to me. I don't see him out of the first three in champion hurdle. I really don't, because they'll go so fast. What bucked him in the Supreme last year was Captain Guinness Elixir Danner falling, in my opinion. Now, Shishkin got a bad trip, but I think Abracadabras would have won because they'd have blocked off Shishkin and Davy would have sat. Another thing, I'll go back to the false start killed me because he was in a better position before the false start. But look, that's just talking through my pocket. But I think if you look at the race again, that it went so fast because Asterion Phalange was going so fast. He needs a fast gallop. A 4-runner race from Punchestown is not going to suit him. I know Gordon Elliott says, he's a speedy horse. He needs a gallop to aim at. For me, Salday does need it because you can see it last year. Now, eventually, it looked like a slow county hurdle last year to me on the eye. To be honest with you, he has to improve his jumping Saint Roy if he wants to be a champion hurdle horse. Because you look back at the county, the only reason he was still in it because it was very slow. Like, you don't really get the way of that in county. You look at the race, like Garrity had him on the outside of the county last year, and he was pushing him into it, and he was hitting him, and he was hitting, but he was more impressive. He's trying to flick the top bar like a champion hurdle does at Tipperary last day. But when he picks up, he really picks up. Do you know what I mean? And to be honest with you, I think he'd have won the Supreme because I think they thought he was the Supreme horse last year. I think he'd have beaten Shishkin. So you flip that over, and he's a champion hurdle horse. I think he'd win Sunday.
Yeah, and that's the thing with it. It's important to say that because it was. I think it was like fairly well banded about. I think for people that hear stuff in the horse racing world, that they really liked this horse, and then he was so poor on his first appearance. People just thought, oh, it's another Willie Mullins hype job that's just got it wrong. Then he quietly went and won after, didn't he? And people sort of already forgotten about him again. Willie Mullins,
he only won at Tremor, and people forgot about him.
Exactly, and the thing is that, I think whether he would have won the Supreme or not, we won't know. It just goes down to an opinion, doesn't it? They probably could have done, to be fair. But then when you look at it, they thought he was a Supreme horse. Then they've given the mark that he was given to go run the county. He would have been stupid to run him in the Supreme, wouldn't he? Just because of the fact that it'd be similar style races, all those bits and pieces. But I agree with you. I think he probably could have been there or thereabouts. I just think this is like a very, very exciting race in the fact that, like, I wouldn't be surprised if Saudia came in and did that. Saudia, I think you can get, I think it's something like 75 to 1 Sky bet for him to win this race and the Champion Hurdle. So that's like just for the sake of like an interest, if he went and won this, I wouldn't be suggesting backing him, but that's the sort of bet I'd be tempted with for like a small bit. Couldn't be backing Saint Noir odds on. Like I said, I think anyone that wanted to back him should have backed him in the summer for the Champion Hurdle, and now you just sit back and let him win these races as the season goes on. Abacadabras, I rarely got him right. I remember when he ran out behind Envoy Land in a bumper. I watched that when I was at Sandown. I think that must have been Tingle Creek weekend, something like that. And I watched him run out, and I just thought, oh, this is going to be an absolute beast of a horse. Then he wobbled a bit up the hill in the bumper, and I thought, oh, he's a rogue. He ran out and he's done that. And I still think in the Supreme, if they'd have waited a tiny bit longer with him and things had played slightly differently, he could have gone past Shishkin. Like, I feel like he might have actually been the better horse. So I just think that first one that's come back, look, I think he'll be much better for it now. I feel like I think the price is wrong. I think 11 to 4, 3 to 1, he's got to be backed. I would personally make Abacadabras and Saint Noir like 6 to 4 joint fabs for this, but then you'd probably get all the committee jumping on Saint Noir for backing him on the Sunday. It's going to be a fascinating race. There's definitely a part in the back of my mind that thinks that Saint Noir is going to absolutely hack up in this, and then the whole world's just going to absolutely implode. But the realistic,
if he hacks up, I don't think he'll hack up, but he'll win in such a way that you'll think that, wow, he's there. Yeah. He looks very good. He's a future champion. He's a future champion chaser to me. Like, do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
I might be talking through my arse here, like, but you know, I really like him. I really do. Like, yeah, I was really impressed at the Tipperary.
And we'll find that out on Sunday as well, won't we? So that's again the comparison of it. Like, I do like the slower chase. This is a grade one, obviously, the Morgiana. These two races, I think there's 5-10 minutes between them, or 15 minutes on the Sunday watching it. But the Morgiana every single year, like, that's the first race of the season where I think to myself, Jesus, we're actually seeing like potential absolute legends. It looks an absolute crack of a race, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
After this, I mean, it's not even that much of a downgrade, but there's a maiden hurdle after 2.5, 2 miles 5, and like best part of another furlong, so basically 2 miles 6. Statler for Willie Mullins in it, won a bumper, and then twice was slightly underwhelming, but I think he's quite a nice horse. Fighter Allen was another one for Willie Mullins that again kind of flopped a little bit. I still think that could potentially be a nice horse. There's nothing in here that's absolutely like worldy levels. Now, Farouk Delan for Gordon Elliott, obviously this is a maiden head and wouldn't be able to go in here. He runs it on Friday over 2 mile 4. I feel like he's an Albert Bartlett horse, whether they're trying to go back for him for a Ballymore. But I've said it so many times. I love in Ireland the like stayers novice hurdle division, because I think it is really, really deep. And there's loads of these races like this. I feel like in this maiden hurdle, there could be something in it that's quite good. Nothing particularly jumps out off of the sheet, to be fair, but there's plenty of nice races coming up at Christmas, listed races and stuff like that for the staying hurdlers. Is there anyone in here that you've seen bumper in or seen before that you would want to give a second chance to?
Statler for me as well, Dave. Yeah, the Fruit del Ende line and the Fire Tackle line. Yeah, 100%. He turns up here, yeah. He looks like a good Treblio today. Him
Yeah,
on his bumper.
and
Yeah,
he's
he
only
looks like one.
25,
Like if you give him a fast
so
pace, then oh yeah,
beautiful. We're in agreement on that then. So we
yeah.
didn't agree on the
He's
down, and
one for me. Yeah.
we'll get it all back on the race after. And then there's a handicap hurdle.
Move.
Yes, we move on, or do you want to go back?
No. Keep going. Just stop there.
Yeah, so what 0 to 140 this is like it's an okay-ish race when you look at like figures, but there isn't anything in there that lures me in the absolute slightest. Anything in there for you?
Goal Des Bois. Dave. Yeah. He was favourite for last day the race that Cade Boy won in Downroy. He got a bad trip up the inside. It was his first handicap, and it was a shock to the system. Won a lot of hurdles and the maiden hurdles and everything, like and these horses are backed off the board. He was a reserve and he got in Downroy last day. It's a shock to the system running faster in the handicap hurdles. There's only 14 declared here, and the top weight's Wolf Prince, who could probably needed to run last day, but he ran in the flat a couple of weeks before that at Thurles, so he should look to me that one of the races I thought should have gone, bar the novice handicap, was the Fred Winter. I hate the Fred Winter. The form never stands up. It just never does. Do you know what I mean? So to me, I would go with Gold Day Boy. Yeah, off 120, I think he's better than that.
Yeah, fair comment. And it was another one of those. It could be there's so much action that goes on. I saw that one got backed when it was reserve and goes in. And you see that quite a lot, didn't you? That some of the reserves will get backs, and then typically when they get in, they run quite well. Like you said, there's got to be more to it than the actual performance is worth another pop in it. After that, we've got another bumper. Hollow Games entered again. It'll be the same repeat as what I was going to say the time before. Just can't wait to see Hollow Games come out. There's nothing else in there that, if it ran against it, I'd be slightly worried about. There's a few more entries in here than there was for the previous day. Anything else that's worth mentioning there, do you think?
Not really, Dave. I'm just going through Cork here, the same as you. There's a couple of double entries, all the same kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? We're just going through Cork there as well. Yeah, the one you said there actually is entered in Cork, and the second race is that Camp David. Do you know what I mean? If we see Graham here running on the Sunday there and is declared, you'd have to have a look at this Camp David, who was well supported that day. Stone. Fire Attack is in here as well, but look, they're all kind of doubly entered for Cork and Punchestown on Sunday. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it. So I think we've got that pretty much covered then. So we've done the Cheltenham Days, we've done Punchestown, mate. It's been really good speaking to you again. I love talking horses with anybody, but I like talking horses with you more than most. You know what you're talking about. And it's quite nice as well because we agree more than I agree with Daryl, which does not necessarily that's what it's all about. But it makes me feel better when I agree with someone. But you also tell me when I'm wrong, like you did with Abacadabras last year, all that sort of stuff. So it makes me realise
he still didn't win, Dave. He still didn't win.
I know. Well, there we go. The flip flop's coming in it. You're going against Abacadabra Sunday. You know the horse better than I do. So in theory, the best bit of advice is that Saint Wild will absolutely batter Abacadabra.
Before we end there, Dave, I have a couple of ones there for Cork. Just going through there. The 157 on Sunday at Cork. There's a mare's beginner chase. And there's a horse that Winnie Muns is raving about. It's called Reading. Proper chasing mare, he said the last day. Ran in the race midnight run there, remember last year, in front view, the maiden hurdle. Second, I think, the midnight run, and front view was third. And that's why people kind of latched on to front view for the Martin Pipe. If she runs here, oh yeah, get on. Do you know what I mean? She'd be a sharp price because she's Willie Mullins.
She beat Abacadabra, didn't she, in the Punchestown bumper?
Yeah. Correct. There's another one here. The next race is 232. That stands out to me is a horse called Off You Go, of course. The handicap plot. Over 2 miles, wrong trip to me, to be honest with you. I don't think there's, I don't know. I just don't understand this horse. What happened last year for the Cheltenham, I never know. Like Glenn Lowe, do you know what I mean? Like Gordon Elliott. Gordon Elliott seems to target the handicaps at Cheltenham more than Willie Mullins does. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was on Collium of Fire, empty post. And oh my
Yeah.
God, I couldn't believe it was beating the Martin pipe. But Guardiola then wins Kim Muir with Milan native, and Glenn Love is mapped out for the year. Do you know what I mean? It's really frustrating. Do you know what I mean? Do you know when that happens? But look, there's another horse in here. I think they've been Joseph O'Brien's fecking around with these trip. It's a horse called Canito, trained by Joseph O'Brien. I think if you put this horse out 2 miles, fat track like Cork, soft ground, just let him go, and then I think he'll win. Do you know what I mean? And like, if you get a decent price each way, back at each way, I can't see him out of the tree. That's Canito in the 232 Cork. If I'm just running through it there now for you.
Yeah, he's only a babby as well, isn't he, Canito? Because I remember when he first started coming out, Band of Outlaws, he was favourite to beat, wasn't he? And then he's just gone supposedly down since then. But convenient that he's now off of 1, 2, 3 over fences. Jeez.
Yeah, I backed actually Cocoa Beach when that friend went there that year, and he was second. And my dad goes to me, "I'm telling you, this Band of Outlaws the men." Of course, never took no notice. I fancied Canito for that Fred Winter, and he never turned up. So I backed on the day I backed Cocoa Beach, and I think because of the gamble on Sealed and Edge, because of Willie Mullins' first time in the yard, I backed him as well, so second and third. And then my dad goes to me, "No, this is my banker, the meeting, Band of Outlaws." And of course, I never backed Band of Outlaws. You know what I mean? Like, so that's the way it goes.